A pleasure to welcome onto the podcast this week a girl that I first met at UAlbany. So we shared a class, an American politics class in 2014. It was an election year, midterm year, so it was kind of exciting. Now, Jasmine, you were in my seminar group. So this was a big lecture hall type deal. And then we broke off into smaller groups. And you were on one side of the room. I was on the other side of the room. So we were always kind of debating against each other. And ever since then, I've always been super fascinated by you because you were super intelligent. And I love the way that you articulated your points. And then we actually had a couple Spanish classes together for a couple years. We sat next to each other, BS'd around. And I saw you at a bunch of UAlbany games. You were a cheerleader. I was running around like working at games, doing some student media stuff. And you were always super nice to me. You always said hi to me when you didn't have to. And I always loved that about you. And I've always respected you. And I've kind of, admired you from afar and everything that you're doing now. So I'm super fascinated to talk to you today. But first, before we get to all the things that I want to talk about, hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, how are you? Thanks so much for inviting me on.
Yeah, for sure. So Jasmine, obviously, our story here kind of started at UAlbany. So going back to those UAlbany days. So I graduated in 3 years. You also graduated in 3 years. So our timelines
Right.
are pretty similar in that sense. But I'm curious, when you look back on UAlbany, what are some of your fondest memories?
Fondest memories, definitely the Spanish classes, not gonna lie. I love Spanish, so those were always a good time because it was like we were all of us, I feel like there was a group of us that were kind of in like every single class together, so that was fun. But definitely being on the cheerleading team, probably like my favorite memories were with the cheerleaders because that was like where I was spending a lot of my time. Definitely some good party stories and stuff like that, but yeah, I would say definitely cheerleading for sure.
And you worked at one of the popular bars in Albany, right?
Yes, I worked at the Smoke and Bowl, which was shut down only a few months into me working there. But yeah, it was shut down for underage drinking. So, but it was really fun to work there before it got shut down.
Sounds about right. Do you remember Yik Yak?
Yes. Oh
That
my God, I forgot about Yik
Yeah,
Yak.
Yik Yak was that just started popping off our freshman year. Like Yik Yak was hot. UAlbany was on SUNY party stories all the
Oh
time, and
yeah,
it seemed like a crazy place to be. And so it was an awesome time there.
so awesome. Oh my God, I totally forgot about Yik Yak. Those were funny times.
Yeah, especially when you're underage and you're just, the messages that you would see in there. Hey, I need a bottle tonight. What rando at this school can help me
Someone
out?
please help. Yeah, so funny.
Good times. So you went from UAlbany, and then I kind of want to talk about where you went from there. So I went off to Connecticut, but you did as well. You went to Stamford, Connecticut. I went to Bristol, about 90 minutes away from each other. Stamford is kind of the gateway to New York City and Connecticut. But what brought you to Stamford?
Right. Yeah. So I actually went to Stanford for a job at like a staffing agency. I got the job through a friend. They told me they wanted me to move there. So I just did it. I mean, it was the only job I really could get. So I just moved to Connecticut. I found some roommates. I ended up hating that job, so I quit. And I kind of would like didn't have a job for a while, but I was bartending. I always kind of bartend on the side just because I like it. It's extra money. So I was bartending and I was actually at a bar at karaoke and met some random girl who actually worked at my current company, and she referred me literally while we were at the bar. It was hysterical.
What?
She's like, "Oh my God, send me your resume." I sent her my resume. She submitted it literally while we were at karaoke, and then I wound up getting the job like a month or two later.
What was that conversation like? Like
I
when I'm at a bar, I'm not thinking about potential job prospects.
Well, the thing is with Stanford, I feel like everyone is a young professional. So it's like there's a lot of really big companies in Stanford. So I feel like there's a lot of young professionals there. So when you go out, the first thing people ask you is like, where do you work? Because they assume everyone just assumes, right? So then she asked me where I worked, or maybe I don't even know how the conversation came about, but I wasn't working. And then she told me where she worked, and I was like, oh, like I want to work there. Can you refer me? And she was like, yeah, I'll refer you right now. Send me your resume. I had it in my email. I sent it right over to her while we were at the bar.
Wow. Okay. So I guess the lesson to be learned here is when we're all back at bars having a good time in the pandemic is kind of bring your resume along with you. You never know
Bring
who
your
you're gonna
resume
meet.
to the bar or have it stored in your phone somewhere.
Oh
So
man,
that worked out.
that's
And,
hilarious.
yeah. And now that's where I'm still working. So that was like 2 years ago. And I'm still
Okay,
working.
so you're not in Connecticut right now. We'll get there in a moment. So I've had a lot of people from Connecticut on the show. I had a lot of friends in Connecticut. I lived in central Connecticut. And a lot of people kind of shit on the state. You know, it kind of gets a bad rep for being a drive-through state, not much going on here, farmland. I have been defending Connecticut through and through. I think there's something there for everyone if you just shift your attitude a little to a more positive mindset. So I love Connecticut. Jasmine, please tell me that you also loved Connecticut.
I did like it. It was funny though. I do my fair share of shitting on it. Like my favorite, my only thing that I always say is like the bottom half of Connecticut is just like fake New York, and the top half is just fake Massachusetts, and they don't really have their own identity, I think. But I did love living there. Stamford was awesome. I loved that it was on the water. I loved that it was close to the city. Very easy to like take the train and go out if you ever wanted to. But yeah, definitely really liked Stamford for sure. And I haven't really lived anywhere else in Connecticut, so I don't really know much about the rest of the state. But Stamford was cool.
Stanford's you should stay in Stanford, you know, Bristol and such. You don't want to go to. So I noticed as I was kind of following your Instagram pages through the years, you were living in Stanford, I could tell, but you were also in Miami all of the time. You're just on the beach all of the time.
Yep.
So like what was going on there?
I just love Miami. So like, and it's pretty cheap to fly. It's pretty cheap to fly and stay for a few days. And especially as a girl, everything is free. So like in Miami, like you go out to the clubs for free, you drink for free. Sometimes you get free dinners, you go on boats for free. So it was very, very fun and easy to pay the $300 for the flight and the hotel for the few days and then just have like a free trip in paradise. Miami is literally paradise. It's the best. So that's why I was going all the time. It was just really, it's just easy and fun.
Wow, I wish I'd been a girl. I didn't know that everything was free. I know you get a lot of freebies, but I didn't know like that. Now, you've actually, in the whole pandemic, obviously this has changed a bunch of things about the way that we work and live. You are now in Miami full time.
Yes.
What made you hammer home that decision?
So the first time I went to Miami, I think it was 2017, like spring break. And when I went, I said, I'm going to live here one day. And then it just kind of like fell into my lap, like a perfect opportunity to move because we've been remote with my job since last March. And they told us we're probably still not going back until at least September at the very earliest. So I was like, you know what? Like, this is a sign. I finally, like, I have a good job. I like, before the pandemic, I always wanted to move, but I didn't want to have to get a new job and like worry about that. So it was perfect because I could keep my good job and still get to live in Miami. So I moved down right after Christmas, like December 28th, I think, with my friend Nicolette, who went to UAlbany with us. She drove down with me. I packed up my car and just moved to a new apartment by myself.
Were you scared at all, starting a new life somewhere else?
Kind of. I was scared. Okay, so I'm a really social person and I like hanging out with friends like all the time. Like every day I'll be with friends. I don't really care for alone time. So I was nervous to live alone. I thought like I was going to get like super lonely, but I think the very first night that I slept here by myself because I had friends like helping me move in, the first night that I slept here alone, I was kind of anxious. And then I woke up in the morning and looked out and saw my view of the water and the palm trees. And I was like, okay, nope, I'm happy. And I haven't been like anxious at all since then. So it was kind of scary though at first.
Why do you normally not like being alone?
I just really am social. Like my winding down is like hanging out with friends. I don't know why. I just have always been that way. Like I just like other people's company, no matter what it is. Like if I'm alone and I am bored, like I'll go and like sit at a bar and eat at a bar like by myself just to like chat it up with whoever, just to like be around people. I just like being around people.
No, nothing wrong with that. I like being around people, but I also love being alone. Probably too much. Sometimes the scale tips too much in the direction of me just wanting to do my own thing and spending time alone. So I'm kind of jealous of you in that sense. Now, do you think that you will stay in Miami for the foreseeable future once the remote work thing maybe kind of goes away, once everything is whatever normal is?
So the thing is, I don't think I don't want to move away from New York forever. My family is there, my whole family, all my friends are there. Like, I don't want to live here forever, but I want to have a place here forever. So like I decided this winter when I came down to Miami and it was 70 degrees and 75 degrees and I was going to the beach in January that I never want to experience a New York winter again. So my goal plan within the next few years, I guess, is to buy a place down here first because I know I'll know that I'll always want to have that, and then hopefully within a few years buy a place in New York, have both, not be the asshole family member, excuse my language, who moved to Florida. Like that family
Yeah.
member that moved to Florida and never came back. Like I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my plan. But for right now, I'm crossing that bridge when I get to it. Like when my job tells us we have to come back, I'll figure out what I have to do then. But definitely gonna try to milk the remote work for as long as I possibly can.
As you should. I'm doing the exact same thing. Now, what did your family think about you moving down to Miami more permanently when, you're from upstate New York, Poughkeepsie, you've got a lot of friends in that area and in Connecticut. What did all of them think about it?
So when I told my mom that I wanted to do it, she completely supported me. She was like, now's the time. You're young, you're single, like you have nothing tying you to any place. Like she was like, you should go live in a new city. Like you're going to meet so many new people. You're going to experience so many things. You're going to learn so much about yourself. Like my mom completely supported it. And all my friends too. Everyone knows how much I love Miami. So like everyone was like, oh, well, she was bound to go there at some point. So we're not shocked,
Okay.
basically. But yeah, my whole
I love
family
that.
completely supported it. My dad was a little nervous. He was like, you got to be careful. Like, a girl living alone, like it's scary. So, but everyone pretty much had my back.
I love that. I love that they were supportive of you. So on your page, on your IG page, you shared a lot of stories that are really positive in nature, just encouraging people to be grateful and to live their best lives and to be themselves. And I love all of that. And so I've been a big fan of that for years. Why do you feel the need to do that? Because I feel like, some people in this world that we live in may view that as corny or lame or like might not get, a lot of likes or whatever. I don't feel that way, but that's just how a lot of people do. So why do you feel the need to be the positive girl on IG, which I love?
I just okay. Well, I'm literally wearing a sweatshirt that says grateful right now.
Let's
And
go.
this tapestry behind me also says grateful. And you know what? I am so corny and I don't care. The thing is, the whole gratitude thing. So just to give a backstory, actually, John, do you know John Liff? John LaFreary, he went to U Albany as well.
Okay.
He's actually the one who inspired me to start doing the 3 things you're grateful for each day. He started doing it and I was like, oh, I like this. I want to do it. And the reason why is because it's really hard to be in a bad mood after you just said 3 things that you're grateful for. It's really hard to like be down in the dumps after you acknowledge all the good that you have in your life. And once I started doing those kinds of things a few years ago, my life has completely changed. Like completely changed. So the reason why I feel the need to post it is because I want everyone else to see the light. Like I want them to see what I saw, like find what I found. And that's why I share. I don't do it every single day. I kind of slowed down with it, but that's why I like to do that. And sometimes I'll write like I'll do like one of those question box things and I'll be like, what are you grateful for? And people will write it in there, or I'll just say, what are you grateful for? And sometimes people will respond to my story and just say something they're grateful for. So it's really nice. And it's really awesome to see like some of my friends doing it too. Cause it's like, yeah, like be grateful. Like life is so good. And it's just really tough to be in a bad mood in like right in the moment. Like your life could be, you could be going through things in life, but in the present moment, if you sit there and say like, wow, I'm so grateful for my family, I'm so grateful for my friends, I'm so grateful for my health, I'm grateful for my hot shower, I'm grateful for like a bed to sleep in, in a safe place, Like once you say all those things out loud, it's really hard in that moment to be in a bad mood. Like you kind of can't.
A fucking men. You can swear all you want on this podcast. I got a journal for Christmas 2 years ago, maybe, that on it, it's like a fitness journal. I'm a very health oriented person. And on the bottom of the page was a list 3 things that you are grateful for today. And when you do it every day, you started getting into the real monotony of things that you are grateful for, where you start to become grateful for every little thing. I'm grateful for my
Everything.
cup of coffee today. I'm grateful that the neighbor next door didn't run into my car today. Like, you start getting really creative with the things, and it completely changes your outlook on life. And I love that you feel no shame in posting that, because I also, in the things that I share, yeah, it's corny. Yes, it's not going to get a lot of likes, views, whatever. But I know that I have also seen the light, and I want other people to see the light. I am living out here in Colorado because I spoke it into existence, because I wanted to be in sunshine, because I wanted to be in an active community, and I wanted to go out west and say screw it all to my life in the east. A lot of people maybe fantasize about doing that kind of thing, but think that they can never actually do it. They think that they can never just go down to Miami and create a life there when they don't know anyone. But you can.
Exactly.
And if you just speak it into existence and share and show people you can, anything is possible.
I so agree. And the corny thing, I literally do not care. And not for nothing, people really like it. People reply and they're like, "I love that you do this." Like even if maybe some people think it's corny, I don't even care, because I know that like some people see that and they're like, "Oh, maybe let me think, what am I grateful for?" Even if they don't post it, even if they don't say it out loud, like me writing that question at the bottom, what are you grateful for? Everyone who reads it has to read it and has to say, what am I grateful for? So I don't even care who thinks it's corny, who doesn't like it, because the people who do, it helps.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I absolutely love that. So a lot of things that you post are, listen, like, you're on the beach all the time, you're in Miami, but if you scroll down your page, you've got suntan skin, you're obviously an attractive girl, you're on the beach, you've got a good job, you're in Miami, drink in hand all the time. It seems like your life is glamorous, that it is perfect, that everyone wants to be you. Is your life really as good as it appears to be?
so no one's life is perfect. And I don't want to sit here and be like, yeah, like here's the thing. No one's life is perfect. And like I definitely go through my own personal things, but Instagram is a highlight reel. So obviously, like the things that I post on there are going to be me in my best light, but also I do feel like my life right now is really good. Like I'm in a good place. I'm so happy. Like I'm almost to the point where it's like nothing can bother me, and I think a huge reason for that is the gratitude
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, no, I don't want to say that my life is perfect by any means, but I do feel like I have created a really good life for myself and put myself in a good spot. And I think it's because I did something as crazy as move to Miami, like did something as spontaneous and scary as like stepping outside of your comfort zone. The outside of your comfort zone is where life begins.
Where the growth happens.
So, yeah, so I'm definitely having a lot of fun. I'm definitely happy. I'm not going to say my Instagram is a lie, but it's also a highlight reel. So,
What does
yeah.
happiness look like to you? What is your, when Jasmine is happy like you are right now? What does it mean is going right in your life?
Well, a big part of it is money. I'm not gonna lie. So my whole life, like I didn't grow up with money. So now having a good job where I don't have to worry about like, am I gonna be able to pay rent? I hope my car doesn't break down because I can't get it fixed. Like that was like all through my life, through college. That was kind of like money was the biggest issue. And I used to hate when people would say money can't buy happiness, because it made it really hard to be happy when I did not have money. So I would
Yeah.
say like having a really good job makes it a lot easier to be happy, because you're not worried about money, you're not stressed about money. But that's not the only thing. Like I feel like I have a good support group of friends and family. I live in Miami, which you can't wake up here and not be happy. It literally
Yeah.
like I see palm trees and I'm happy.
Yeah. It's just
So
instant dopamine, literally just being
yeah,
injected into your veins.
literally. And like the sun. So Happy Jasmine, like in a moment, Happy Jasmine is literally on the beach in Miami. It's 85-degree weather in a bathing suit, hanging out. That is pure bliss for me.
I love that. So you're on TikTok as well, in addition to IG, and you had put out a video somewhat recently, basically saying that being on TikTok as a 24-year-old is like being a girl in high school. You're walking around alone, and there's a bunch of clicky girls that are there making fun of you, but then there's also a bunch of clicky guys that are there making fun of you. What exactly do you mean by that?
So, okay, what I meant by that is like I was comparing TikTok to when you're in the mall, and it's something about a bunch of like young girls all together that's really intimidating, even though it shouldn't be. It just is. So like, and it's kind of a thing. Like a lot of people I've talked to have felt that feeling like, oh my god, when I'm in the grocery store and there's like a bunch of high school girls there like doing something together and I'm by myself, it's like so embarrassing for whatever reason. I don't know why. But the comparison was being on TikTok is like that, except imagine there's also really mean boys in the mall, which doesn't happen. But like imagine that. And then you think like, oh, there's just boys over there, like they're not gonna bother you, but then they start bullying you and it's even worse. And what I really meant was like on TikTok, the comments are ruthless.
Yeah.
People will comment so many mean things. And so it's just like, I don't know, it's just weird. And so, and I feel like too, since I'm 24, I'm not old, but there's a lot of famous TikTokers that are 15 years old who are like cool and young now. And like I'm becoming like I'm getting into my mid 20s. Like
Oh
I'm
man, you're
kind of
washed
actually
up.
an adult. So it's like makes it even worse that it's like a little kid is being mean to me and I'm like getting sad about it. Like why am I getting sad about a little kid bullying me? You know?
So what kind of comments do people on TikTok say? Like that, and
Anything.
that's what I hate about this stuff is that you are a genuine person living her best life. You're a great girl. You're smart. You come from like everything is great, and people are still mean. What comments do you get, and how do you like? Do they affect you and your mindset and how you view yourself?
So okay, like if anyone ever insults like the way I look or like my intelligence or anything like that, I don't really take it to heart because I'm confident in who I am. So like I feel like someone who is confident in themselves and likes themselves would never say that about someone else. So I almost feel bad for people who are haters because it's like there must be something going on inside that
Yeah.
you feel the need to like spread hate like
Yep.
that. The comments that I get are ruthless. Like people will comment stuff about me being ugly, stuff about me being like a hoe, like literally everything. Me being stupid, like that I have a bad personality. Like it's like every comment in the book that you could ever think of, like has been said. And so to a point, at first, okay, so like my first video that kind of went viral, I started getting a ton of followers and I got like a ton of comments on the video. And a lot of them were really mean. And I literally just stopped reading them. Like, I just stopped reading them because it's like, I can't put my energy into looking at this. Like, whatever people say, it's none of my business. I don't even care. I don't even care. And the other thing is, you do get paid on TikTok for engagement. So keep the comments flowing because you're engaging on my video. So honestly, at that point, I'm getting paid for you to be a hater.
I love
So
that. I love so much of what you just said. So when I worked at ESPN, so I worked on a lot of high profile podcasts and radio shows with a bunch of high profile talent. And so when I was on these shows, I was a voice on these shows. And so then it's so funny when people that you don't know start commenting on things that you're doing and saying and messaging you personally. I've never met you before, and you are going out of your way to try to tell me that I'm doing a bad job or that I sound funny. And at that moment, because I'm confident in myself, like you were confident in yourself, you just kind of turn it around and say, I feel bad for you that this is what you are doing in your free time that you feel the need to go tear someone else down to make yourself feel better. That's low. And I will
Exactly.
hate myself if I ever get to that point.
And the other thing too is that the people who are saying these things don't know you, and all your friends and family would never say those things. So I'm like, I know that it's not true. You know what I mean? Like, I'm confident in myself enough where like this random person is just being a hater and they don't even know me. Like, and if they did know me, they wouldn't be saying that. So that's a them problem, and I'm gonna be over here staying in my gratitude lane, and
Collecting checks.
you can stay being a hater.
Hell yeah. Now, what would your advice be to, a 19-year-old girl on TikTok who is yet to develop that sense of self-confidence like you have, still a developing mind, still a fragile mind, and still trying to figure out who she is at that age? What would you say to that 19-year-old girl on TikTok who is getting some of those weird, nasty comments, who's letting it affect her?
And that makes me so sad that that happens, and it happens to so many people, especially on TikTok. It's actually so toxic. I love TikTok. It's so much fun, but the comments on people's things are so ruthless. What I would say to someone, I don't it's tough. I just don't read the comments. So, but there's something in us as humans that we want to, like, we want to
Yeah.
see it. Even though we know that it's bad, we want to see it. I would say either turn off the comments or delete them, because you can delete comments. So, like, if someone comments something nasty, just delete it. And then I feel like sometimes it's almost like a group think kind of thing where people see one nasty comment, it's getting a bunch of likes,
Yeah.
and then they want to do their nasty comment, and then it's just like a toxic environment. Whereas, like, if you can catch it early and just delete it. But the one thing I would say to whatever 19-year-old girl is going through that, it's them, it's not you. It's them. When someone is a hater or is mean or rude or disrespectful, it's because there's something in them that hasn't healed. And pray for them. You know what I mean? Because, like, I'm not a nasty person. I would never say something mean to someone else because I feel like I want to treat people the way I want to be treated. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I absolutely
So
love that. Thank you for that. When you are about to post on IG, you're gonna make a post or a video on TikTok. What kind of goes through your mind as you are posting a photo? What makes you officially press share on it?
so on Instagram, well, I guess on both, I obviously care what I look like. I obviously want, like, my body to look good and my face to look good. I don't want to post something where, like, my face looks awkward. Um, but usually, like, when I'm taking pictures, it's either a good day or a bad day. And if it's a bad day, I don't even try. And if it's a good day, like, I'll probably get one really quickly that I'm like, oh, this is good. And I actually don't think about anything. And I literally would just be like, okay, I'm posting it right now. And, like, just post it and throw my phone. And then just see what happens, I guess.
Interesting. Okay. Now, I've always been fascinated by the captions that girls put on photos because, and I'm a guy, so I can never really relate. But a girl will post a photo of her on the beach, looking out over the waves, whatever it is, and the caption will have no relation whatsoever to what you are seeing in the photo. And I'd be lying if I said that you weren't guilty of this. There's one post that I wrote down. Where is it? Oh, it says, "You like Krabby Patties, don't you, Squidward?" Like, that is not related to this whatsoever. Where do girls like yourself come up with this stuff?
It's literally in my head at that moment and usually makes no sense. Or, like, if I heard a funny thing like that, you like Krabby Patties, don't you, Squidward? Like, I don't know. I have a picture that I want to post, and I want the caption usually to be something funny, or, like, I don't know. I don't like those captions where it's like trying really hard. You know what I mean? I don't know
Yeah,
if I'm articulating that well,
people
but
overthink it.
yeah, I don't overthink it. I literally just post whatever comes to my mind in that moment, and hopefully someone thinks it's funny. So at least you thought that one was funny.
I did think it was funny, but sometimes I just don't get it. I kind of try on my own post. I just kind of gave up on trying to come up with something clever and similar to the positivity thing that we were talking about and it being corny. I just I'm just going to say whatever I want to say. You know, I posted something the other day about how grateful I am for this experience in Colorado, that there's been highs. You know, I'm seeing great things for the first time. It's great weather, but there's been lows. I'm
Of course.
lonely. It's hard to get places based on just transit and whatnot. I don't have a car. So it has been hard. And I don't want to shy away from that. Like, hey, here's these amazing photos, but let me tell you that behind this, it's not 100%, you know, sunny all the time. So I posted that, and I'm still trying to just figure out just kind of, you know, the best way to represent myself as I go forward in all this.
Yeah, I would say like I agree with like you don't want people to think your life is perfect because it's not. No one's life is perfect. But at the same time, I don't really like to dwell on negativity. So for me, posting something about like me going through something bad almost makes it more real, almost makes it more, it makes it like hang on for longer. Like I try to, like, if I'm going through something, like I try to get myself through it, be positive and move on. And I feel like when you put something out into the world, like I want to put out just things that make me feel good,
Yeah.
because like, why would I want to spread something negative? You know what I mean? So that's kind of why I don't really post anything about like going through something bad, just because I feel like when you dwell on something bad, it kind of lingers around longer, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So I need two pieces of advice. There's two different things that I'm dealing with, and I've identified you as maybe a good person to help me out. So I need advice on where to live, and I need dating advice. Which do you choose first to help me tackle?
Let's do where to live first.
Okay. So I've got this conundrum. So I love Colorado, and you know I've been here for. So I identified at the beginning of the year. Okay, I'm leaving Connecticut. I'm leaving my job, saying screw it all, and it's Boston or Denver. There is no room for any other place. It is Boston, Boston adjacent, Denver, Denver adjacent. That's where I want to be. And so I spent a month in Boston in February, and then I came out to Denver in March, and I'm going to be here in the West until June. And so I'm going back to upstate New York for a wedding at the end of June. And that's kind of the point where I'm like, all right, what am I doing here? Am I going to Boston? Am I going to Colorado? So my problem is that I really love Colorado. It is awesome out here. The weather is, you know, the sun is more intense. There's actually more days of sun in Denver than there is in Miami in a calendar year. So that's awesome. You know, it's a very active place. I'm getting 13,000 steps a day here like that without even trying. And I'm being super active, hiking, biking, walking, all that good stuff. The people out here are so nice. It's different. The interactions I'm having out here are different. Great craft beer, great food, 4 major sports teams. It's great. I love it out here. Boston is more expensive than Denver. It's, you know, there's mass holes, and it's the Northeast, and it's just something that I've known forever. So I'm not as high on Boston, clearly, as I am on Denver. But, big but, there's a lot of people in Boston and in the Northeast in general that I really care about. And I know that when I am at my happiest, it's when I'm surrounded by those people. In February, when I was there, I had, you know, I just, you know, pandemic, so not going out or anything, but just a really good night with friends on the couch, drinking, sharing stories, sharing laughs. And in that moment, I was like, this is amazing. I love this. I want to do this all the time. And so I'm really stuck because there's this place out here in Colorado that I really love that is so cool and makes me really happy for a lot of reasons. But there's Boston, which is not as cool as I would say. And Denver has 20 factors over it that are better, but it has the people. And that might be more important than all of that. So I don't know what to do.
So I'm the same exact way where I feel like my friends are my family are my life. I said earlier, I just love being around people all the time. So I'm the same way where I feel you on like why you want to be close to them. My only thing is, when else are you going to live in Colorado? Because like your friends and your family and like the people in your life that you care about aren't going to go anywhere. You know what I mean? Like they're going to still be in your life, hopefully. I mean, and if they don't, then was that relationship
Right.
that important anyway? So I think like at a time like this when, you know, we're both young, like this is the time to go live in Colorado. And not for nothing, like you're going to meet friends in Colorado, and then they might be some of your friends for the rest of your life too. I think it's a really beautiful thing to live in different places and meet people and make connections with people. And then you have those connections forever. Like I have friends from college that live in Australia. And like, if I'm ever in Australia, I'm going and hanging out with them. You know what I mean? So my advice to you would be, you probably like Colorado better. Obviously, go follow your heart, do what you think is best in the moment. But if you miss them too much, you can move home.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that's the beauty of it. Like if you
Yeah.
can live wherever you want, and if you don't like it, you can move back.
Yeah. No mistake can be, every mistake can be corrected if it ends up being a mistake. So I'm, I think a part of growing up, and that's kind of the whole idea of this podcast, is we talk about things about growing up, is just, accepting that you don't know everything. So I like talking to people and just getting out of my own head and laying shit out to other people to see how it lands for them. Cause I put more faith in a lot of other people's decisions. If like 50 people tell me Denver and one person tells me Boston, I'm like, all right, well, I mean, I think I need to know what I need to do. So that's that. Secondly, so like dating advice. So I'm not a dating app guy. Like I hate it. I think it's, and hey, no disrespect to the people out there that are on them and thriving and have met people that are soulmates on it. It's just not for me. Who I am does not shine through on a dating app. And any quirky message that I'm supposed to send to get your attention as a girl, it doesn't work for me. I think it's awkward. I think it's forced. I don't like it. I like meeting people naturally, whether it's through friends, out and about, out in the wild, whatever. The problem is I don't think that is as accepted in 2021 as it was in 2000, right? If I just go up to a girl that I think is cute or that whatever at the library, at a coffee shop, at the gym, at a non-bar setting, which has all sorts of sexual ties to it. If I just go up to a girl in a normal setting and try to strike up a conversation, I think people feel that is weird and that is uncomfortable. I have no intentions other than I just want to talk to you and get to know you and see your story. But I don't feel like that's accepted. If I think you're cute and you're at a coffee shop and I come up to you as a random dude striking up a conversation, how would that land for you?
For me, it would have to happen naturally. So like if I'm out in public, I'll talk to whoever. Like if someone talks to me, like I will, but it needs to be in a natural way. If I'm sitting there with my headphones in, drinking my coffee on my phone, and someone comes up to me, like I probably don't look approachable because I'm like my body language would show you that I probably don't want to be approached. But then there are times where I'm looking around. Like I feel like the body language like matters a lot. If someone's like head down, like not making eye contact, I would say no go. Probably shouldn't like go. I mean, you could, but the person probably doesn't want to be approached. And
Yeah.
then if they are making eye contact or you both laugh at something that happened, like the guy in front of you did something crazy in line, now you're talking to each other. Now that's a perfect time to talk. But like, do you get what I mean? Like it has to be natural.
Yeah. So on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, we did this thing, me and some friends, we did a March Madness style bracket of Troy stories of things that had happened in my life. Cause like all these weird things happened in my life. And I had asked a girl who just worked at the front desk of a store. And I had seen her once before. And the second time I go in, and like each time we'd had like pleasant exchanges, I guess. And so I just asked for her number right on the spot. And she laughed and giggled and blushed and whatever. And writes down number, piece of paper, hands it to me. I walk out of there. Wow, let's go. Okay, just be yourself. This is great. Call that number next day. Number doesn't exist. It's fake. So I'm like, what do I do here? Like, is this a weird thing to do? I don't know.
Well, no, because how else are you going to meet people? How else are you going to meet people if you don't put yourself out there and do it, you know? But I don't know. Some people like to be approached, and I guess some people don't.
Yeah.
So I don't really know on that front. I'm someone who doesn't like dating apps either, but now in 2021 where you can't really go out. Like, I mean, you can, but like it's tough to meet people when you're out because you have to be at your table or whatever.
Yeah.
I have been using I've been using Hinge, and I agree it's forced, it's not natural, but like at this point, like there's not really any other way to meet
Right.
people.
I
So
know.
I actually have been using Hinge. Haven't been that successful, except I did meet a guy a few weeks ago. We went on a couple dates and then we went skydiving.
I'm so glad you
So
brought this up. Hold on. Okay. I have to stop here on this. Okay. So another reason why I think fondly of you is because in this first Spanish class that we had together, we were doing like, oh, what'd you do over your summer vacation type deal? And you mentioned that you had been skydiving and that you urged everyone in the class to do it. I had never thought of doing it before. That's crazy. This was when I was, less adventurous than I am now. But you kind of planted a seed in my mind that I should go skydiving. I actually went skydiving last year and it was so much fun. And I
let's
want to do it again in
go.
Colorado while I'm out here.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm actually really a skydiving advocate. I was on this date with this guy and I asked him, what's something you've never done before that you really want to do? And in my head,
Oh
I'm
boy.
like, say skydiving, say skydiving. But I didn't say it. And then he goes, honestly, I would like to go skydiving. I go, shut up. I was just thinking that, like, you read my mind. And I was like, you have to go. It's so amazing. Like, there's a place in Miami. Do you want to go? And he was like, yeah, honestly, yeah, let's do it. So then that was a Tuesday. We booked it for a Saturday. We hung out a couple times in between and we went skydiving.
Wow. Okay. I
Yeah,
love that.
I'm kind of someone who peer pressures people into jumping out of airplanes.
Yeah. Why are you such a big skydiving advocate?
It's amazing. Well, you've done it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
The feeling is unlike anything else in life.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I feel like at the point where you're like about to jump out, you're not even scared. Well, how did you feel when you did it?
So I don't know if I've only been to one place, so I don't have the one comparison. So I was super jazzed for it the whole time, but then you get there and you end up waiting for like 5 hours or something. So I wasn't nervous at all. And then especially because I've been talking to people on the ground, those people go up and then they land safely. I literally watched them land. I say, all right, hey, we were just talking to them. 45 minutes later, they're back on the ground. This is fine. But then you get up on the plane, and I'm in a plane with 8 people. Me and my friend are jumping together, and we are in the back of the plane, so we're last in line. So we are watching everyone tumble out of this sideways and just fall off into oblivion. And that moment, I literally turned around and said to Kelsey, my friend, what the fuck are we doing? And she's like, Troy, this was your idea. We have to do this. I'm like, well, I guess we have to now. So then I just tumbled out of the plane and landed safely, and it was great.
It is so true. Like there are moments where you're not scared, and then there are moments where you're like, why am I doing this? So I went skydiving for the first time. It was that summer before, maybe it was the summer before sophomore year of college or something like that. That time I went, I was ready. You get nervous, but I was like ready. I think I was 6 years old when I found out what skydiving was. And I was like, Mom, I want to do that. And she was like, you have to be 18. And my entire life, I was like, when I turn 18, I'm going skydiving. So the first time I was like ready to go. The second time I went, it actually ended up being the exact same day a year later, unplanned. Other friends invited me to go and I said yes. The second time I went, I was like, oh God, like I already did this once, like, and landed safely. Why am I testing my luck again? But obviously I landed safely. That was the second time. And then this was a spontaneous third time that I went a few weeks ago. And the third time, I don't think I was that scared. But I mean, it's a feeling unlike anything else.
Yeah.
You literally are flying through the air. Your body is just flying through the air. Like it's hard to even comprehend.
When we were in the plane, my instructor was telling me, hey, if it feels like you're not breathing, just remember to breathe. And I'm like, what? That is the dumbest advice I've ever heard. What are you talking about? And then I'm in the air flying down at 9.81 meters per second, whatever it is. And I forgot to breathe. I'm like, holy crap, wait, breathe. He told you to breathe.
I actually struggled to breathe too. And I kind of freaked out. I like couldn't breathe because you feel like, when you stick your head out of a car going really fast, It's kind of hard to breathe. Feels like that, but you're going 120 miles an hour. So it's like the first time I was like, oh my God, look, what if I pass out because I can't breathe? Like, this is scary. But then I figured it out.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to go back to the dating app and seeing and how you met this guy. So kind of when you're on the dating apps, and it's crazy to me that you haven't been as successful. Like I feel like you're a steal. What is kind of your approach on the dating app scene? How do you like how do you do it? How do you navigate it?
So I just use Hinge, and I don't usually scroll through and like people first. I kind of just let them like me, and I either like them back or don't. But like I'll look at, are they attractive? Are they tall? I'm pretty tall, so I like a tall
Yeah.
guy. Are they attractive? Are they tall? And what do their questions say? If they say something that looks douchey, I'm not liking them. If they say something that looks judgmental, not liking them. Like sometimes I'll see a prompt and it's like, you should not go out with me if, and the guy writes like, if you use filters on your pictures. First of all, okay, sure, but why are you writing that on a dating app? Like that's so, don't you feel like that's so obnoxious to write? Like that just shows that you're extremely judgmental and maybe like shallow because you only care about how the person looks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that, I will not like them back. And then when I do like them back, if they look normal, I'll like them back and I'll let them start the conversation. And if they're funny or they seem cool, then I'll probably agree to like go get a drink with them or something. I've been on like 3 or 4 dates since I moved to Miami. So
And is this how, because I'm just trying to get into the mind of a girl. Is this how most girls kind of approach it?
I think so, but it sucks. Like most of my friends right now actually aren't single. So most of my friends aren't using Hinge right now.
Yeah.
But I think most people go the same route that I do. Are they good looking? Like maybe how old are they? And then you do look at the prompts. You want to be funny. The whole point of the prompts is to like show your personality a little bit. So I think most girls look at that for sure.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you, Jasmine. This has been amazing. One final thing before we go. So we do this thing every week, every Thursday show called the All Natural Initiative, where the guest that week comes on to talk about a cause, an organization, a charity that is meaningful to them, that has maybe impacted their lives in some way, or someone that they know. I feel it's, and you probably feel the same way, that it's important to give back. And when you've been blessed or with things that other people are not, that it's your duty to give back. So I donate to this cause, and then we encourage all the listeners to donate to the cause as well. So Jasmine, what is your cause today, and why have you chosen it?
So I chose Operation Liberation. It's a girl in South Florida who runs a nonprofit that saves animals. And so basically it's all based on donations that she pays for their vet visits. She like rescues them, fosters them, a lot of it's cats and kittens. So, but she does help other animals too. But basically she rescues them, she fosters them, she takes them to the vet, gets them completely like fixed up if there's anything wrong with them. And then she finds like people to adopt them. So she does it completely off of donations. And I actually was in touch with her because I got a kitten and I was extremely allergic to it, like really, really bad. I was so sad. I cried a lot when I had to find somewhere for her to go. But I found this girl. She took her in and fostered her, took her to the vet, did all the things. So it's just something that I think it's a really nice thing that she does. And she's like a really cool person. And I feel like it's probably really hard to run a nonprofit based on only donations. So that's the one that I'm going to choose to shout out today. And she has an Instagram. It's Operation_Liberation, and they have like a link in there where you can Venmo or send money however way you want. But
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. We will share some of that info for Operation Liberation. Some of your handles where people can follow you. You are on Instagram at JasmineXONO and TikTok at Nasmin Junin. So we'll play on words. So we'll share that as well. So Jasmine, thank you so much for joining me. I really enjoyed this conversation. If you're in Colorado, hit me up. We'll go skydiving, vice versa. If I'm in Florida, I'll hit you up. We'll jump out of a plane together. Thank you for joining me. And I'm grateful for you. And I wish you all the best.
That's awesome. I'm very grateful for you too. Thank you so much for inviting me on. This was awesome. And definitely, if I'm ever out in Colorado, I will hit you up.